Welcome to HHUS's student paper Ekbladet's Summer Talks for the 2023 summer release. As a part of the digitalization process of Ekbladet, we are bringing podcasts as well as summer and winter talks to our members. For the summer release of 2023, IBP, CEP, SM and HLP have one summer talk/podcast each. Furthermore, the head general of 2023's Inspark will join the lineup. IBP's and the head general's talks are in English. CEP's, SM's and HLP's talks/podcasts will be in Swedish. So, without further ado, on behalf of the editorial group, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hi HHUS, my name is Cornelia Andersson and I'm currently studying my 4th year of the International Business Program. So I've been with this organization for a while. I've been with it pre-corona, post-corona, and very much so during corona. But let's get into how it was starting before corona. I can remember sitting in one of the halls of Humhuset when 5 of our fathers ran into the room together with our head general, Victor Snell. The year is 2019, and I'm sitting there thinking, what the actual fuck is happening? They're trying to hype us up to what is that year's theme song, something that I can't even remember, and I'm pretty sure most of you can't remember what song you had as a rookies either. Well, but the first thing I thought to myself was, where am I and how did I end up here? What is happening, and are these people already drunk? Well, I'm introduced to Lovisa Svensson. She's going to be my superfather for the next upcoming 7 weeks, but also pretty much for the rest of the time I'm studying in the IBP program. So they take us to Tornet, and we have just barely started to getting to know each other, introducing ourselves, saying where we're from, and realizing that there are pretty much no one else from Stockholm in my group. We are 3 people from Stockholm and maybe 15 from everywhere else in the north of Sweden. And I'm thinking to myself, why are these people speaking so slowly? Well, we're walking in, Lovisa starts screaming, "You have to run. Run, everyone, run." The music is so loud, and the screams are even louder, because we're running into what is Tornet during the first day of kickoff. And we are greeted with so much love for the organization HHUS. And that is when I first fell in love with it. And I knew right there and then that I was going to take on a lot of responsibility and love this organization like so many others of us do. I am so grateful for what has been given to me through the organization and how much I've been able to contribute together with all of my other friends. But let's start talking a bit about how the rest of that year's kickoff went. We had fun. We were drinking, possibly a lot, but I can't remember that. So I'm going to say that I was pretty much sober. They took us to Rouge. They took us to the EPUB. They took us into the city. And they took us to all of the different kårhus. Because during our year, we were able to meet a lot of different programs through cross-programming. And I think that is one of the very sad things that we lost after COVID. Is the opportunity to meet JF and compete with them, because that is something we really do love to do. Competing with IE, the Industrial Economy Program. Getting to meet a lot of people aside from the people within HHUS was so much fun, and that is something that I would really love to see Emily and the rest of the generals for 2024 bring back. A couple of other things that we had during that time was probably a lot of engagement within the EPUB, having days where they would focus a lot on you as a rookie should work at the EPUB. And that was also something that got lost during COVID, which I think that we did a great job bringing back in 2022. I'm going to be really honest with you. I can't remember that much from my own kickoff. It was great. I remember having a lot of fun. I remember meeting a lot of fun people, and I remember barely being able to get home some nights, but our fathers always being there to make sure to call someone or send us home with another rookie or even bring us home themselves. I remember that the theme of the whole kickoff was games, and my wonderful fathers and the wonderful fathers in all of the other IBP groups. We were brought so close together so fast, and I think that's why it's a hard time remembering so much details. But all I know is that they planned it very well, and we had so much fun. The thing you don't understand as a rookie is how much planning goes into one single event. And I think that is like really something that you say, like you want to understand it so badly, and you're thinking to yourself, like, how much could like one event, like how long could it take to plan? Because that was exactly my thought as a rookie. And I think after 3 years as a general, I still don't understand how much it takes to form one single event, even though that's what I've been doing during the last 3 years. So 1 week before our finsittning, the current master of specs during 2019 came up to me and asked if we wanted to be in the rookie specs. And as someone who is a bit of a showman, as everyone knows, I was nowhere near towards hesitating. And when we went up on stage 1 week later, I must say all of you did fantastically. I was so overwhelmed by the love and support and everything else that was put into that specs, and the contacts that I tied from just one single thing during that kickoff, because I think that's what really made me apply to become Master Specs in 2020. And so I got to step into the role of Master Specs in January of 2020. And in February of 2020, Maja Pjugstam, who was the general that year, asked us, do we know anyone who is willing to apply as a general? Because it's been a hard time trying to get people to apply. And of course, as the little lover of HHUS that I am, I decided to go with it and apply. This ended up being one of the best decisions I've made within this organization, because the general team of 2020 was just amazing. I was the only first-year student, and then we had 3 third-year students and a fourth-year student who decided to stay for master. And we had so much fun planning the events until the school sent us an email telling us to plan for 3 different kickoffs. This was right after our återspark of 2019, where it was the last night we were able to go out because COVID had hit Sweden hard and fast. And we realized that this might actually not end up being just something that is going to blow over. It might actually stay for a good while. And so we started to plan an entirely normal kickoff, a kickoff with a hybrid mix where we would have smaller groups than ever before. We would plan and schedule for everyone to have a little time at the EPUB, but the nightclubs would not be open. We were going back and forth with Rouge on how many people they could bring in, and we were talking about how to stop the Twister parties from happening. This became one of the harder missions. And then we also planned for a kickoff that was entirely online. And this was actually the worst case for us, because if it was entirely online, I believe that maybe a fifth of the students that were rookies that year would have been on the first meeting. And after that, we would have a participant rate of 0. So we were really happy when we got the decision that the EPUB is going to stay open for at least 4 hours a day, and we were going to be able to be on campus, even though not in the same way as we were before. So the amazing thing I talked about in Tornet, the welcoming to all of the new HHUS rookies, was changed from Tornet to right outside of Lindell. So the first day when we were applying the rookies for getting into university, it started raining. The cloud was actually turning gray, and we thought it was going to stay gray until the end of the day. So the first few rookies that came out, they were welcomed into Umeå with bad weather, not very happy fathers maybe, and staying in a line to get their rookie packages at the EPUB in the rain. This was something that we truly thought was terrible, since we had already lived through something that was so much better according to us. But as per usual, HHUS conquers and overcomes whatever is in front of us. So from having big nightclubs openings with theme parties and big events with everyone participating, we had Tvistefester, we had wonderful fathers who rented their own venues and made sure to create their own sittings and their own bigger parties with themes and etc., etc. We were running around the whole kickoff trying to make sure that everyone stayed safe, even though it's way harder to keep control over 26 groups in different places rather than 13 at the EPUB and 13 at Rouge. We were so excited when we were able to really bring everyone together when we were outside for such thing as Campusängarna or Fantabollen and similar ideas like that. But it really was, we were missing out on a lot of cross-program activities. We were missing out on bringing SM, HLP, IBP, and CAP together. And I think that in many ways was sad both for the rookies and for the fathers, because you already had so many friends in other programs. It was especially sad for the EPUB, as it was really hard. It was a really hard time getting people to commit to work. But that wouldn't be a problem for very long, as we had to close down due to the pandemic becoming even worse. That year, we were able to throw our gask and unable to throw our finsittning because of the new restrictions. Then got to a part in everyone's studies where you apply for exchange studies. And I ended up applying as maybe a bit of a joke to the US and ended up getting in. And so my plans for the next semester changed from being a fadder my third year of studying to going to the US to study there instead. So in the spring of 2021, I terminated my contract for my living and booked my flights to the US and worked on getting the visa to go there. And then, maybe a month after terminating my contract to live in Umeå, the school got back to us and said, unfortunately, you will not be able to go since there has been a change of how Corona is currently ending up looking for the situations of both flying, but also for the safety in the country. You know how Americans are with their safety in the country. So I ended up going to some of our lovely rookies that we had gotten in IBP the year before and asking them if I could join their fadder group. So we ended up splitting the groups, and I became super fadder in our group, which was so much fun getting to plan the kickoff in a similar way to what the fathers the year before had, where we booked our own venues, we planned for our parties outside, we bought tables and stuff to play beer pong outside, and it was so much fun. Well, halfway through the summer, something in the general team happens, and Emma Gustafsson asks me to step in. So that year in 2021, I become general for my second year, and I am also currently the super fadder of my own group. And a week before we are going to start the kickoff, all the plans are already set in stone. Everyone who's going to work at the EPUB has gotten their eldsjälspass, and they are planning through everything to fit with their exams, etc. And everything is looking like it's ready to go. The school emails us and tells us we will no longer be able to host you on campus. You cannot be in groups of more than 8 on campus. The panic that hit our plate was incredible. We did not know what to do, and we were so unsure about if we should even keep going, because it really must be a safety issue. If the school decides that we cannot be at the EPUB, we cannot be at campus at all, etc., etc. But we managed through it, as I said before, and hopefully the rookies of 2021 remember that as well. So we had to move a lot of things around, and that is probably something a lot of you remember. Walking through the mud at Mariehemsängarna instead of the mud at Campusängarna because the weather was shitty. We were all freezing our asses off, and most of us was also hungover. This was the first year we introduced Sober Fadder, and I really think that was something that calmed my nerves from the year before. Really knowing that there were more than 5 responsible people trying to take care of, well, it depends on if you count the fathers as having to be taken care of as well. I guess that depends on what group we're asking, right, Beatles? But making sure that around 300 to 650 people are feeling safe and secure. We were really appreciative of the extra 26 or 27 hands on deck. Wow, I feel like I've been talking about the kickoff for so long. Please, Elliot, cut this part down. And then in 2022, I decided to apply for head general because there were so many things as a general that I really loved, but were up to the head general. So I really wanted to make sure that I could influence a bit more on another level, talking more to our policies or like creating our policies, making sure that we can do everything that we possibly can today to make sure that everyone feels safe. My general team of 2022 worked their asses off as I was flying to the US and participating in all meetings from the US with an 7 to 8 hour time difference depending on the solar thingy, whatever it's called. And we were planning that whole thing, and I was up at 5 in the mornings or 6 in the mornings, or sometimes even 4 in the mornings to make sure that we were able to have our meetings both with Umeå Studentkår, together with the social committee, together with everyone else who's a part of the process of creating the kickoff, which is a lot of people. Everyone within HHUS with any important role is a part of the kickoff in some type of way. Making sure that we have student representatives, making sure that we have people that work at the EPUB, making sure that the money is actually coming in from our sponsors, etc., etc. There are so many different parts to HHUS, and all of them work together for us to get the best kickoff possible. Planning a kickoff when you yourself are not in the country has got to be one of the saddest things I've ever done, because I was so looking forward to being a part of the management trips and the Återspark of 2021. And there were so many things you were missing out on, but at the same time, you had so much fun being on your exchange that you barely even noticed it. There was a lot of work going into making sure that my generals had the support they needed when it comes to picking up different packages, ordering 100 different things that is needed for the kickoff, talking to all of our sponsors, etc., etc. But they did an amazing job themselves and are one of the best teams that I've ever worked with. For the kickoff of 2022, we decided to change a lot of things. As all of you who have been fathers before know, the Vice Super Father was a new title that we decided to go with, since it can be a hard time trying to only contact one person in a group of 20 people when everyone is starting to get drunk, or someone doesn't have battery on their phones, or someone has test in the morning. So we decided that we should divide the responsibility a bit more on the rest of the group as well. We also created the whistleblower system, which I think is one of the main contributors to why we have such a good communication within the organization now. Really making sure that everyone feels safe to talk to everyone, and bringing up issues is one of the most important things during Insparken. Since we really need to make sure that both rookies and fathers feel like they are not narking on their friends, but they are taking care of the people we're supposed to take care of, which is always the rookies. I had this idea that I was not only going to speak of the kickoff during my whole talk about this, and that I would bring up a lot more memories. However, I think a lot of the memories involve people who would not want me to speak of them. So I really hope that you enjoyed getting a more full view of what we do when we have a kickoff, how we plan it, how it was changed through Corona. Trying to create events for a kickoff where you're not supposed to like touch each other or mix up germs, etc., was hard, but I think we managed to do our absolute best. That's when we created events such as Capture the Flag, Water War Edition, as well as the cocktail night to divide all the groups in their own within their own father group. If there is one thing that I would like to really make people understand with this little summer thingy, summer talk, it's that you should get engaged within HHUS. Even if it's just working at the EPUB or being a methodist or being a father, it really makes sure that you are a part of the organization. We appreciate you, and you get to meet so many new people. Being a part of this organization, it has been something that probably has changed my life forever, because I've gotten to work with so many lovely people and so many like different ideas from different levels. I've also gotten to work with Umeå Studentkår, which has been a blessing and really interesting. And gotten to work with so many different companies on how to reach different students. So I think that if I can be a general for 3 years, you can probably take on any position in HHUS for 1 year. and it's going to change your life because it's so much fun. Thank you so much for listening to me talk, and I'll see you in the next Inspark.